Hi, everybody. How are we doing today? I hope everybody is doing well. Today, we're going to talk about again this insider trading and the wealthy being allowed to just get away with it. And what are they going to do about it? Maybe they might change some rules, but it doesn't intend to stop it. And what about the ones who've already committed this crime that the rest of us would have been already put in jail for? What is going to happen to them? Well, they think because they're part of the wealthy upper class or government, there's no consequences. Well, that's where things need to be changed. And that's where we, the people, have to make sure we do our due diligence to make sure these changes are made and things happen. If we don't do anything about it, again, nobody's going to, because these people are not going to do something that doesn't benefit them, nor are they going to stop something that definitely benefits them. As long as they feel above the law or empowered to get away with these crimes, nothing's ever going to change because they are not going to stop allowing it to happen when it is so beneficial to them, especially in millions and billions of dollars. And my second part of this situation that is definitely a huge problem is the fact that if you are one of, again, the richer, if you want to say the elite, the government, the wealthy, however you want to put it, they commit crimes and they get slaps on the wrists and they walk away with nothing. But if you're middle class to lower class, you will get hammered with massive time. That is not the way things are supposed to work. And then also, if you're one of the wealthy, rich government employees, you most likely don't even end up getting charged at all. We just go on acting like it didn't even happen. And again, that is not the way that things are supposed to be handled. So, this is where we, the people, need to make sure that everybody is held accountable equally as it's supposed to be. We don't get to pick and choose who gets charged or who gets what kind of ending to their criminal actions and the time that they're going to serve and the amounts of money they're going to pay back. Why is it only the poor actually have consequences? Or what they consider the poor, I should say. So let's take a look into what they're saying they're going to do about this situation and see if they see anything about the consequences for those who probably have done some not so legal things. Let's see if any of that is even brought up in this situation, or even if they would be looking into any of it. I doubt it, but I just wanted to make that point very clear to the people. After revelations of several scandals involving potential insider trading within the Federal Reserve have emerged over the past weeks, the agency has banned its officials from trading individual stocks as it scrambles to mitigate a legitimacy crisis and distrust of the public. Well, I wonder why there's no trust. After all the things that I discussed in the beginning of this video, everybody has the right not to trust. And then on top of it all, what is being done to fix or resolve or handle this situation? Policymakers and senior staff within the Fed are now barred from buying individual securities and will have to adhere to shorter reporting guidelines, according to a press release by the agency. The problem is, it should have been put in place from the beginning. The other problem is, it should have been dealt with as soon as they seen people were abusing this situation, and those people should have been held accountable immediately. Senior Fed officials will only be allowed to trade diversified assets like mutual funds. And yet again, here is still the problem. However, the kind of scandal that likely sparked the new rules would still be likely to take place. Imagine that. So what is the point? Honestly, what is the point of it? Last week, the American Prospect revealed that Fed Chair Jerome Powell sold between $1 million and $5 million from an index fund, a mutual fund that mirrors the performance of the market. Again, what is the point of this? Just so they can continue to do the same thing, just in a different way? What is the point? Where is the difference being made? Where are the changes? Where is the corruption being stopped? Like I've told you before, it's not going to be. There is going to be no attempt by them to ever stop the corruption, because it's what helps them. It's what gives them what they want. It's what they use to get what they want. So why would they change something, again, that benefits them in every way that they want it to, but hurts us? We need to make the changes and make them now. Just before a large market crash in October of last year, and with rules still allowing top officials to trade mutual funds, the type of trade that precipitates the rule change would still be legal. Again, what change does this make to any of this? And your answer will always be, when it comes to them, there is no change. Progressive lawmakers and economists have called for Powell to be ousted from the Fed. I got a better idea. We get rid of the Fed. It's all fake and ran by evil, corrupt thieves, and they just want to steal from us and control us. So why don't we just get rid of them? That alone would make a big difference in America and for Americans. Economist Gerald Epstein wrote, "For truth out, the Powell's financial regime and deregulation moves have likely exacerbated financial inequality and weakened economic growth that would support the working class." Criticizing the Fed's pandemic policies that gave preference to bailing out markets over small businesses. And I know most of the people see it now, but the rest of the people need to see it. There's a reason for that. They want to smush out little businesses and help big tech, because big tech helps them. The corruption goes hand in hand. It's time to wake up. Epstein wrote, "In the absence of a strong commitment to financial regulations and thy will to enforce it, this destructive cycle of speculative excesses, financial crisis, and bailouts is simply going to continue." Most of us know that is absolutely the truth, and it's going to continue. Others need to start facing it, because if we don't fix it, the problem will only get bigger for we the people. These tough new rules raise the bar high in order to assure the public we serve that all of our senior officials maintain a single-minded focus on the public mission of the Federal Reserve. Powell said in a statement. He, like as his friends, are only single-minded about one thing, and that's how we screw the people and get more money into our accounts. The Fed has also been embroiled in several other scandals. Last month, two regional Fed presidents were found to have traded significant amounts of stock in 2020 as the markets were roiled by the pandemic. Dallas Fed President Robert S. Kaplan had made nearly 24 stock trades worth $1 million or more. Boston Fed President Eric S. Rosengren bought and sold real estate related securities which are related to Fed policy. Both officials have since resigned. I'm sure they didn't mind. They had plenty of money in the bank by then. They don't have to work for it no more, like we actually have to do. Then earlier this month, reports showed that the Fed's vice chair, Richard Clarida, had moved between 1 million and 5 million in stocks in February of 2020, the day before Powell announced potential policy overhauls for the pandemic. And of course, Clarida is still in his position. Again, these people need to go. We need to get them out of there. I think it's time to revamp our ways and revamp America. These scandals happened despite a warning circulated to Fed officials in late March of last year, warning officials that activity trading during the financial crisis would reflect poorly on the agency. Once again, these selfish, evil, greedy people have proven my point that they believe they are untouchable, unstoppable, and they do not care what any of us think. They believe that due to their positions and their friends and their partners and the people they're in contact with, that they are untouchable to accountability, and they are ripping us off right in front of our faces as they make us poorer, they get richer, and they think there's no accountability coming their way. And that's what needs to stop. That's what needs to be changed. Another major point. The latest Federal Reserve data has shown, meanwhile, that stock trading is a financial tool that is increasingly available only to the richest individuals in the U.S. Data last week showed that the wealthiest 10% of Americans own a record 89% of all individual stocks. This has aided the accumulation of wealth at the top during the pandemic, during which the top 1% gained more than $6.5 trillion in corporate equities and mutual fund assets. The Fed's top officials, who have huge sway over financial markets in the country, are representatives of some of these top wealthiest individuals in the country. The 5 appointed members of the Fed, including Powell and Clarida, are all millionaires. Powell, worth between 20 million and 55 million, is the richest Fed chair in history. It's sad that one person can have that kind of money, and mainly because it's been swindled, stolen, corrupted, somehow gained in a negative or illegal way. And yet, there's people out there who have almost nothing. That is not what this world was built on and for. Now, this greed has went way too far and way out of hand, and we can see the corruption in this whole situation that should never be. And the amounts of money people have that should never have it. The easier your job is, the more you get paid. That's another thing that I just don't understand. It's got to make sense. And in this world that doesn't make sense because it's run by evil, it's got to change. And we, the people, again, need to unite and bring the goodness out and shine the light back in this world where it belongs. This has got to all come to an end. And everything has to be made fair and right, because at this point, like I said, you can see it's not. And who made these rules and who made these pay wages for each type of industry? Because we really need to go over them and even them out and equal them out into fair rates, because these evil bozos have really screwed things up. And it doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked so far in the past. And it has to be redone. It has to be revamped. And this kind of criminal activity that's in the situation we're talking about today has got to stop. And that money needs to go rightfully back to where it belongs, because it was stolen from the people. And the saddest part is the most ripping off they did of the people was during this pandemic. That's when you could see they really grew their wealth. That has to be fixed, like I said, ASAP. And it's absolutely disgusting that they would do it in a time like that, where not only people lost everything, they even lost their family members. And these people were more concerned about ripping us off and getting even more wealthy off of our losses. Again, people, wake up. Things need to change. The scandal at the Fed have also prompted lawmakers to advocate for barring Congress and other top officials and lawmakers from being able to trade stocks, as it should. It should have always been that way, because we see some of our government officials are choosing to get information from friends, family, husbands, etc. You know who we're talking about. I've talked about them in many of my videos. That, again, was stolen from the people. Insider trading. People like me and you would have been arrested. Why is it that these people just get to go on and nobody in government or the Justice Department talks about it? It's just ignored like it's not even happening or didn't happen. And again, that's what needs to be fixed. These people need to be held accountable. They should have never been able to participate from the beginning. Plus, they make plenty of money. Again, who set their pay rates? Sure wasn't us. And that has to change. And then they do whatever they can corruption-wise to make even more money off of us. And with all that taking they do from us in every way that they can, we can't even get up a little bit of money to even try to play in the stocks or anything else, because we're paycheck to paycheck. Again, these are things that must change. Enough is enough. And this next part will really shine a lot of light on the corruption. Chris Josephs, co-founder of a company called Irish, which shows other people's stock trades, has been taking advantage of a law called the Stock Act, which requires lawmakers to disclose stock trades and those of their spouses within 45 days. Just recently, during the end of the pandemic, people started following Pelosi and her husband, and we all know why that happened. And there should be a huge investigation with criminal charges attached. And then the money should go back to the people. I can't say that it's true, but I can say that it doesn't look good. But in that case, everything I just said should happen. Now on Joseph's social investing platform, you can get a push notification every time Pelosi's stock trading disclosures are released. He is personally investing when he sees which stocks are picked. And that would be nice if everybody could afford to do so. And maybe some could if they weren't constantly ripped off by the government. Should tell you a lot about the situation, and also, I guess if you can afford to do so right now, maybe try Joseph's ways. Joseph's views trades by federal lawmakers as smart money, worth following, and plans to track a large variety of politicians. We don't want this to be a left versus right thing. We don't care. We just want to make money, he said. There's your answer, guys. It's very sad because, again, it's all about the money, but it's all about the money for certain people and the ones who can afford it that aren't robbed of everything that they work so hard for. And again, that has to change. It would be great if we could all afford to throw some money at Pelosi's or all these other politicians' picks, but we all don't have that kind of money to invest. Even some start out at around the hundreds just for a share, one share. Who can afford that if you got to buy many shares to make the money? And who can risk that high? We can't. Normal people can't because you stole all our money. But the worst part is this is done through corruption. And that cannot be allowed. I don't care who it is or who thinks it's okay because they're gaining from it. The fact of the matter is that everybody should have a right to be able to live comfortably. And for people to have billions and trillions that they'll never even use, and people have nothing, that is not, again, what this world was made for. That is not what we were put here for. We were supposed to live a life of prosperity and love and happiness and growth. And it's turned to greed and evil, and where people don't think or care about other people. And it's very sad because we all should be able to live here and live equally, especially since now our economy is basically bankrupt and Biden's throwing it even further into the ground. And supposedly money isn't going to mean anything anymore. This is a good time to start over with some respect and love for other people and bring goodness back into the world instead of looking at it as a negative and let's all just crash and burn. This could be something very uplifting where people band together and make their own communities and their own groups of people to support and love and take care of each other and work together for a better tomorrow for our future families to come. We do have a lot of cleaning up of this mess that has been made with our country. And again, all this money people are fighting over is not going to mean anything. Then what does it really matter how much money you have? But I still believe the people who committed these crimes to get this money need to be punished. And I believe that anybody who's committed any crimes to rip off the people or insider trading or anything else need to be held accountable. And it doesn't matter who you are or what position you're in or what seat you sit in or how high you really think you are when you're not. You're just another person just like everybody else. You need to be held accountable. And Americans, you American people out there, need to make sure this starts happening. We together need to start making sure this happens. It has to be done, or they will always take advantage of you. And that has to come to an end now. And we, the people, need to unite and make sure all of this happens and changes are made, because if we don't, we're looking at a very dark tomorrow and a future for our loved ones. And we cannot have that. This world wasn't built for greed. This world was built for love and peace and family and happiness, and to be able to spend time with your loved ones and build happy memories. This world has been corrupted by evil and greed, and that also has to come to an end. And everybody should have a chance to have a nice life on this earth. A nice, meaningful, good life. And the only way people are going to have that is if they let go of all the material things and the ridiculous amounts of money that are only supposedly for certain people. There's plenty to go around. No matter what it is, there's plenty to go around. When you're killing food off so that people have to pay more, that's ridiculous. And now look what they're trying to do. They're trying to kill it off to gain control because they've been allowed to use that, which should have never been allowed. These are the kinds of things that we need to stop before they get out of hand. And it's time, people, unite and stand together. Now, before I go off in different directions again, because it all comes back to the same thing, money and corruption. It's so hard just to focus on one thing when you're talking about it because it's all connected. So I'm just going to leave it there for tonight. I love you guys. You all mean so much to me. Thank you so much for watching. Please join the channel, like the videos, and please share them. Share them as much as you can. Get the word out there because I've literally seen people still questioning things on social media that need this information. So please share my videos. And I love you guys. I appreciate every one of you. And I will see you on my next video. Thank you so much.